The US says China will face harsh consequences if it aids Russia in its invasion of Ukraine. It comes after US officials told a number of newspapers that Russia asked China for military equipment. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says it's fake news and US disinformation. Our China correspondent Steve McDonnell has more from Beijing.
Just come from the Foreign Ministry briefing here. Of course, we asked several times about this for clarification. And the message coming from the Chinese Foreign Ministry was that it was fake news, or that the US had been constantly spreading disinformation about China recently. But given ample opportunity, Zhao Lijian never directly said that such a request has come from Russia. So, I mean, people can make of it what they will. He says it's fake news. Does that mean there's been no request for military assistance from Moscow to Beijing? I mean, it could be nitpicking. It could be it's a bit of a get out of jail card there to say it's fake news because perhaps some aspect of the reports Beijing doesn't think is accurate. However, nothing was made clear, along those lines. I mean, interestingly, we also had the Foreign Ministry spokesman repeating this claim today that the US Embassy in Kiev had deleted all these documents relating to pathogens and research in biological labs in Ukraine. Well, when I asked the Foreign Ministry spokesman why it was, he says these have all been deleted. Well, I checked on the website for the US Embassy in Kiev and they all seem to be there to me. So I asked if he checked the website. He just said he'd received different information. We said, well, how about you go and check now? If it turns out that such documents are there, might you go on Twitter and correct the record? Because he's been spreading this line that these documents have been pulled down, and he just dodged the question. And again, it sort of made these suggestions about biological this and that, but it's all kind of very vague and smearing the US. So on the one hand, China says, we're the victim of disinformation, and yet we are constantly seeing some of the worst aspects of the Kremlin disinformation and propaganda being repeated without question by the Chinese government, being published widely here via the Chinese state-run media, on social media, by the representatives of the Chinese government, the way in which social media is controlled. Also, it is having the effect of swinging large parts of the Chinese population in behind the war effort.